Here we go. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to episode number 3 of Shred Your Body. My name is Jesse James Jamnik. I guess I'll just take the host feature, and we'll do that. So these are calls that we want to do every single Tuesday. And my goal with this, my vision with this is to, if you haven't heard from the little bird, we have started this thing, this movement, this empowerment movement, this take back your health movement that's gone over the last 2 months now. We have impacted hundreds of people's lives, physically, mentally, emotionally, through the power of food, which is my jam. It's my favorite thing. So my goal for these calls is to give you guys tips and tricks, is to give you some science some weeks. My absolute favorite, Laura is saying hi to us. Sean is on saying hi to us. Outstanding. So my favorite is sharing real life people's stories, right? People that were stuck, that were needing something, that found something, and they're there. And I'm really, really excited to have 2 of what I call warrior princess shredders, right? Kara Cooper, Heather, you guys have seriously taken this thing and not only crushed it, in my opinion, but you've crushed it. But you guys, I'm really, really excited to chat with you guys, because my favorite part of this, I always say, look past the pounds, look past the inches, and let's get to what this is really doing. And you two are like seriously shining stars in my world. Like, I really do mean that from the bottom of my heart, because it pleases me that you are in so much control of your life now, but you took the empowerment movement of the ER shred, that piece of it, that vital, vital piece of it, and you guys have really put it into real life action. And I'm excited to dig into that a little bit. So first off, thank you both for being here. Really
Happy
appreciate
to be here.
it.
Yes, I'm so grateful. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, super excited. Okay, so let's start basic, right? Let's start with you, Tara. Where are you from?
I am from Ontario, Canada.
Ontario, Canada. And Heather, where are you from?
I'm from Brooklyn, Connecticut.
Brooklyn, Connecticut. I'm from Rhode Island. We were very close. Very cool. And what do you guys? Yeah. What do you guys do for a living? What do you do on a day-to-day? What's your day-to-day?
I am a mom of 3, and I stay home with them, and I have a home-based business that I'm so grateful for. But I also am homeschooling my youngest daughter right now.
And I'm a 7th and 8th grade music teacher. 7th and 8th grade middle school music, in addition to having a 6-year-old.
Holy bajoli. So I would say that you two are busy, busy, busy moms, right? Busy moms for sure. You got your hands full every single day. And that makes me even more excited about you guys, because most people that have a lot going on tend to use that as an excuse to not get to where they got to get to. And maybe that was part of your story, and we can dive into that. But I know from coaching for so many years, that has been a constant thing. You know what I mean? That people forget to put themselves first. So let's start, if you guys will, if you don't mind. Tara, we can start with you, and then Heather will go to you. Take us back, Heather. How long have you been on the healthy, let's call it the healthy lifestyle journey now? How long have you been trying to get to what you consider to be your happy place?
Is that me first? Sorry. You said Tara or Heather?
Go you first. Yeah, you first.
All right. Well, I started my journey to taking my health back in 2009 when I had my second baby. Like I said, I have 3 babies now, and they're older, but it was 2009 when I really saw that I had some desperate needs. I was exhausted. I felt so tired all the time. I didn't feel like myself. And thankfully, at that point in time, I had a pivotal moment where it was one very simple decision. And at that time, that only decision was to have a couple shakes in my cupboard to have during the day and a few bars to make it easy when I was breastfeeding my son. Just to get good nutrition, because I wasn't grabbing the best nutrition at the time. I was craving a lot of junk. And so interestingly, and I won't get too much into this right now, things started to repeat themselves the last
Mm-hmm.
year or so. And so I knew I had my tools in my basket, but they weren't doing the same thing. So it started back in 2009 for me.
2009. So we're about to hit 2021. So we're talking a good chunk of time for you.
Yes, it's been 11
Good chunk
years.
of time. Yeah.
Mhm.
So guys, if you're just popping on, do me a favor. If you haven't granted this StreamYard app permission, just grant it permission so we can see your comments. If you guys have any questions throughout that you want to ask these guys, pop into the comments and we'll be happy to do our best to get to those. And Heather, what about you? How long have you been on the healthy lifestyle journey now?
So for me, it started after my son, similar to Tara, like embracing this lifestyle. And my son was 7 months old. So it was back in 2015. I joined 2015 I joined in. And I was, had the little one who doesn't sleep. My husband was working in upstate New York. So he was home Friday night, left for work Sunday morning. Full-time music teacher, department facilitator, and I went back to finish my master's. And so I needed a plan that was going to support me to get through all of that crazy. Yeah. And I reached out to a friend and found this nutrition plan, and it fueled me through and made some significant focus and energy changes. I graduated my master's with a 3.97 GPA, so I feel like I did something well.
Yeah, for sure.
I made something that worked.
That's awesome. So you guys, so I can imagine. Actually, it's not even imagination. Like I'm just a blunt guy, so I'm just gonna call it out. There's a lot of people that are feeling like shit right now. A lot of people that are feeling like shit right now. And some people are hiding. Some people are making excuses on why they think they should feel that way. For you guys, if you can think back, because it's been quite a while now. But what was the initial? I'm not talking about the ER shred just yet, but what was the initial aha moment to you guys? And again, we'll just go Tara, Heather, so that way we just keep it that way. But what was the initial moment that you were like, okay, enough is enough, and you got the courage to say, yup, I need to take care of myself? Because especially being moms, a lot of moms, like, oh, my kids come first and my kids come first. And look, I'm a dad. I have a beautiful 10-year-old girl. I get it. I would take a bullet for her. However, I also believe that if I don't take care of me and put me first, how can I be there for everybody else at my best ability every single day, right? So for you, Tara, what was it like if somebody's out there and they know they feel like crap, they look at themselves in the mirror every day, they're not happy, they're disappointed, maybe they're crying themselves to sleep, whatever the case may be. Like, what was it for you? Like, where were you at when you were like, okay, enough is enough?
Yeah, you know what? It was a desperate place. I will admit that. I was a teacher actually full time before I had my kids in the elementary division. And I was struggling a lot with that career, partly the stress of it. I mean, I give every credit to all teachers in the world right now. It's a very hard time. I can't imagine what you're going through. But I remember at that time, I had my two first kids back to back. Like I got pregnant after 9 months with my second. So they were under 2 years old when I had them. Like my oldest was under 2 years old and I was exhausted. So I remember at that time, I did not have money coming in at all. In Canada, we have a really great maternity leave that happens, and we can have a whole year basically paid, a portion of our salary. But I didn't even work enough between my babies being born to have that nest egg, that little bit of security. So this stress on top of having two babies, because they were both babies, one was a toddler, one was an infant. My husband was working as a police officer full-time, working extra hours to try to make ends meet. And I was desperate. I was like, okay, number one, I felt like I couldn't afford to do anything different than go to the grocery store and grab the junk food that I was craving, because junk food was cheap. But I was at a point in my life where I knew that if I did not turn my health around, I would not be the mother that my kids desperately needed me to be. And probably the hardest point in time was convincing my husband that I deserved to put good nutrition in my body, and that I felt this was the full package. And for him, like, we can't afford it. We don't have, money coming in to pay off the credit card that you're spending $200. Like, honestly, $200 to order my first little bit of stuff was a stretch. And I remember saying, I know I can't help support the bills right now, but I promise you that if this works for me, I know I can do something with this to help other people. So it was a desperate, I'm not going to lie.
So you were definitely like, would you say that was like your rock bottom? Everybody kind of hits like, was that what it felt like for you?
It really did. I mean, I've had another one since then, but it has definitely been one of the hardest times. Yes.
What about you, Heather?
I agree that it's setting an example. I had to take care of myself to be able to take care of others, and being stretched as far as you can. And we stretch our limits. Sarah, I'm hearing that from you too, is we'll say yes to everybody except ourselves. And I finally decided, you know what? Screw it. It's time that I say yes to me and fill my cup so I can continue to give. And when I finally signed on the dotted line that I was going to go back and finish my master's, I'm like, I need to do something to take care of myself, because otherwise, who's taking care of my kid? My husband's at work. He's out of state. Who's going to be there to do all of that and help balance? And so I needed something that was fast. I need something that was healthy. And I needed something that I was regaining control, because we were just starting to introduce foods with my son. So it's like, what habits do I want to introduce him to at such a young age? Like, I don't want to be one who says, do as I say, not as I do. I want to lead by example. Yeah. So I decided that I was going to be the example, so then I could lead.
Yeah. No, that's really powerful. And it's funny, it's everybody's, I think people get confused. Like, we've all heard, like, you need a why. Like, you need a why. Well, you guys just told us your why without me saying what's your why, right? Like, that's a beautiful thing. So that's an example for people. Like, if you feel anything like that, and again, Tara's story is her story, Heather's story is her story, my story is my story. But it's funny how, even though, right, like, you guys are moms of three, a mom of one, and a teacher, and I do wallpaper installation, I run direct sales marketing business, and I do ultra marathons, but yet we still have this connection of kind of what was there, right? Like, I got to a point for doing this for so long, I felt like shit myself. Like, even though I got to look on the outside the way I wanted to, I felt like I got run over by the dump truck every day at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I was drinking like 6 to 7 cups of coffee a day. And I wouldn't tell anybody because they thought I was the healthiest person ever, right? So we all have these things that are hiding, and then we hit that moment where we're like, okay, enough is enough. So, okay, cool. So you guys, thank you for sharing that. So now we fast forward. You guys made the commitment. You got the healthy stuff, right? We started to put the healthy stuff in our body. I'm sure we've had some sort of results, right? Am I on track here? Okay, great. And then something happens, again, this thing called, I don't know, life. And we're normal and we're human. And, we get back to a point. Tara, for you, what was the point again? And let's fast forward a little while now, so we get up to current here. What was the point where, because you've now been doing the ER shred for, you've done one, right? Heather, you've done two, is that right? Okay, so you've done one, but you've taken a little break in between, and you're about to do another one. So we'll say, has it been a month? Is that fair?
For me, not even, less than a month for me.
Okay, less than a month. So less than a month ago, you get to this point again, and something wasn't, I'm going to assume that something wasn't right, but you tell me, where were you a month ago in your health journey?
Oh my goodness. So this is the embarrassing part, and I'm going to be vulnerable here, but that's what moves mountains, honestly. I can't say enough. Yeah, life happened. It happened over several years. Stress does a number on us, and there's different reasons for stress every single day, not just being a parent, but so many other things, right? They happen. And with stress, what I was noticing was my habits were starting to fail me. I was still using the tools and the products and the nutrition that I knew to work well. It just wasn't working the same way for me. And I know now through this amazing process that I've learned through you guys that, you know, I wasn't absorbing nutrition the way that my body was intended to absorb things. And I actually, in the back of my mind, always felt that that was the problem, but I had no idea how to help myself. I had been going to several professionals. I'm not going to badmouth anybody because they all did their job and they were working really hard for me, but nothing was helping. And finally, about a month ago, when I started seeing some of the posts that Sean and Crystal were sharing, I was actually really in a place of, nope, not for me. I'm not interested. That doesn't look like anything that I would want to do. You know, it looked crazy to me. And I
Don't
almost
spill the beans just yet. Don't
no,
spill the
I
beans.
won't.
Don't spill the beans just yet.
I didn't really want to know anything about it, but then a few people that I knew and I respect them too. It's not that I don't,
Yeah.
but I was hearing some people have results, and I'm like, you know what? Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? I was at a point where I never weighed as much as I've ever weighed before, other than being pregnant. But I don't even know that I weighed that much a month ago as I did when I was pregnant. I have to go back to my notes, but it was awful. And I just remember thinking, this is not how I want to be. This is not how I want to represent myself or be an example to my kids or my husband. And I was all in. I thought, you know what? Put my things aside, my thoughts aside, and my beliefs aside, and why not try something different?
Yeah. So if I'm hearing you right, just so everybody hears, you had all the healthy tools. You were eating the healthy lifestyle that we've all become accustomed to know, that we've been told is right from whatever, right? The government, the media, the food pyramid, or whatever the hell we're learning our stuff from. Like you were doing all those things. Like I know a lot of people that are doing the healthy thing, but yet they still can't do A, B, C, right? So you were at that place, and I can only imagine because you're in the health and wellness business. You're in the health
Yes.
and wellness business. Did that mess with your brain, knowing that you? I know this. I'm going to ask some. I know, but did that mess with you? Did you almost feel like a hypocrite that you weren't?
Absolutely. I felt like I was such a hypocrite for sure. And it didn't feel good at all. I remember even
Yeah,
through, I mean, obviously through COVID, I'm not seeing people as much. So it's kind of like, oh,
yeah,
thank God. I don't have to show
mm,
myself, right? And it's embarrassing to say that. But yeah, it gets to a point where when the cravings start to take hold and you can't get rid of them, and I know you and I have talked about this personally, I was like in a place of going, I know this is wrong, but I'm wanting it so badly. It's like my body
yeah,
saying, I need this right now, even though I know I don't need those things, right?
yeah,
Yeah, it was an awful place to be. And I actually felt
yeah,
like, who am I to share and help people if I can't even get my own self under control?
yeah. And that like just that statement actually hits me in the heart because I get it. You know what I mean? I really do get it. I can only imagine, like, here you are, you made this deal a long time ago. You said, if this works for me, I will do A, B, and C. And then you get to this point where it's like you almost feel so guilty in yourself that you don't even want to tell anybody because you're not doing it yourself, right? And I've been there too. I've been there. Hell for me was a whole different thing. And this isn't about my story, but I totally get you. Mine was more with the business side of running business and saying you should do this for business, but yeah, I wasn't doing it. So that's where I'm kind of relating with you there, being totally honest. Thank you for sharing that. I don't think it's crazy. I think it's courageous that you're actually able to say that. So I would step into that courage because people need to hear that. I need everybody to understand that we're just all normal people. You know what I mean? Like there's never a perfect way. There's never a perfect situation, but you know what I mean? Like everybody has their don't ever just judge a book by its cover because everybody has these underlying things and again, thank you guys for being really vulnerable and sharing that. So Heather, your turn. Let's rewind back to two shreds ago, which is, these are 11 days, so that's at least 22 days. So we're looking at maybe a month for you. I know your journey You've had an amazing journey since August, not necessarily combining two different things. But where were you at that point again? You started in 2015, but here we are again, August.
Yeah.
What was going on? Where were you at in your mind?
I mean, everything 2020 is just one for the books that we want to burn. And with everything that happened with teaching and shutting down and going remote, I was in a place that I was turning to food for comfort and indulgences. And so I was struggling. And so I started rethinking and trying to recommit to myself in August. And I was doing carb cycling and it was working. I was getting results, but it was so much work. And then school started to pick back up. And so it's like, how am I balancing full-time remote teaching, my kid going to school, doing his hybrid things, and then measuring and weighing and scaling and keeping track? So I kept watching the shred. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to hit the pause button on carb cycling. And I'm going to try this because if you can give me a good steak that a vet can bring back to life, I am a happy girl. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just try this because I trust Jesse. I trust Sean. What the hell? I don't have to get into work clothes until January. So I've got some time to play around with things until I figure out what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to take the plunge. And I did it. And it's awesome. So easy.
Yeah.
My life has simplified.
That's awesome. I mean, that's the goal. Like, I remember the day Sean called me, and I've known Sean for, over 5 years and have, gone through his journey. And, for those of you guys that don't know, or you're listening to this for the first time, we are the ER Shred, right? It's an empowerment protocol. It's not a diet. It's not the caveman diet. It's not the keto diet. It's not the carb cycle diet. It's not the high protein diet. Like, it's not my freaking diet. It is a empowerment movement. I do not believe in fad diets. Diet says die, lifestyle says life. I choose life, and I'm so glad you guys have now too, right? But I get it. From, I've been studying nutrition for many, many years. I've helped a lot of people. I've gone through the process myself. I cringe when you say carb cycling, Heather, because I think back to like bodybuilding days and like sucking the water out of my body and cutting weight and measuring food and eating cold.
It was another job.
Oh my God! Like, it was a full-time job, but here's the thing. What I've learned, we've never actually addressed the major thing that's happening with people, and everybody says, I'm eating healthy, I'm doing this, but I can't lose weight. And I'm like, well, that's because we still have this thing called inflammation running rampant throughout our body. And so I love the story for you guys. And I want people to really understand this because it's not like you're people who just had all this free time in the world. It's not like you're people who don't have daily commitments and jobs. It's not like you're not running around chasing children. It's not like you have adulting to do and cleaning and taking care of animals. And, I think, what I mean? Everybody, I don't want anybody to compare and be like, oh, they had this, this is there. No. They had all that going on, but yet health is our greatest wealth. And I'm going to preach that till the day I die. And you guys have come in and you've done the shred and combined together. I don't know if you guys saw, I added your numbers, which is crazy. We'll go through. You guys have lost 25 pounds and released over 41 inches visceral body fat off of your body. Poof, gone. One of you did it in 11 days. One of you did it in 22 days. And Heather, you've lost 30 pounds. Quote by Heather, I've lost 30 pounds since August. But the second half took me half the time that it did my first time, and it's 10 times easier, and you don't feel like you're dieting, you don't feel like anything, right? So, Tara, you already said you first saw this, and you were like, oh, hell no, because what people don't realize is we take science, and what we do is we incorporate ER Shred, elimination, reset, shred. We eliminate the culprits. we wipe them out. Like, we're not playing a game here. We ain't going to tiptoe. Like, we're going to Mike Tyson uppercut these things, and we're going to take them out, okay? And we're going to eliminate and take out all the culprit stuff. And then we're going to reset with nutrition, intermittent cellular fasting, which has got so much freaking science behind it. This is not your window eating type of thing. And then we're going to shred the body by fueling it for performance with meat, like steak, like ribeyes, porterhouse, T-bone, moo, like red meat, moo, like all that thing that you've been demonized, like you think meat's demonized. It's one of the most nutritious foods in the world, okay, if we actually learn about it. And you're like, oh, hell no. Then you got to a point where you're like, okay, I give up. I'm going to try because results don't lie. And you came in, and within 11 days, your personal results were what?
It makes me feel weird to say it because it's just so unbelievable. 11 pounds and 19 and a half inches.
Yeah. And do you feel like at any point, did you feel restricted or deprived?
I was so full, I could not even, like, sometimes I thought, do I really have to have this meal? Because I'm full. It was amazing. No, I did not feel deprived. There were no cravings. Like, it was just gone. The first day, I noticed a massive difference.
Crazy, yeah. Right? How fast? Like, and do you? And what about you, Heather? Let's. I'll do this in stages. I'm getting so excited. I just want to keep pulling stuff out. But your personal results for your shred part only, Heather, because I know total you've done that, right? But you've done 2 shreds now, and your personal results have been what?
13 and a half pounds over the 2 shreds and 23 inches or something like that in 2 shreds.
What? And same thing for you. Did you feel like you were ever on a diet? Did you feel deprived? Did you feel like you were starving yourself?
No, because it's like we've been told, eat like a queen. Yeah. So I eat like a damn queen, and I am proud to have my steak. I am proud to throw some butter on it and enjoy. Like, there is no, those meals when I was growing up, those kind of things, you know, going out for the prime rib or having that red meat was such a privilege because it is the higher quality cuts and things. So that's what I'm treating myself every single day. And I'm completely satiated that I'm not hungry. I'm not having the munchies right now. Like, before this, I would be, okay, I'm gonna watch a Facebook Live, let me have a snack while I'm doing it. Now, I'm not there. Maybe there was a mental thing where I wanted that glass of wine, so I put my water in a wine glass and I was fine. Like, if it was a habit, I found a replacement for that habit, and it was just because it was a habit. It wasn't that I was craving anything, or like the cravings are gone. Like the cravings are gone. My skin is clearing up, and I can
What did you used to crave? What did you used to crave? What were things that you craved? Chocolate, okay.
And chips, like salt. But we're having salt, and the way we're having salt works for me. So I'm not sitting there craving that. Or I like my chocolates.
Yeah, for sure.
My chocolates, I like my ice cream. I'll make some cookie dough, and I'm happy.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'll give you some good news since you've already done a lot of shreds. You know, like really good quality chocolate is actually loaded with antioxidants and is actually pretty healthy for you to have a couple squares of it every day. So reward yourself and have a couple squares. You know what I mean? We even have these amazing things. I'm sure we all know Ice of Delights, right? We can definitely pop an Ice of Delight here and there. That's awesome. So what do you guys think, Tara? What's been besides? I mean, the weight that you've lost, the inches that you've lost, is stuff that people have literally tried for months on end. You've tried to do it yourself. And no matter what you did, you ate the healthy, you did your thing, you couldn't get it to budge. And then all of a sudden, we throw this crazy ass concept at you. Let's remove it all. Let's remove the carbs, let's remove the sugars, let's remove the soy, the gluten, the high fructose. And I want you to eat as much meat, grass-fed butter, and salt and collagen bone broth as you could possibly put in your body. Like that seems like the craziest concept in the entire world, doesn't it? And then bang, your body responds and you lose this weight and lose this inches. Besides all that, what has been the biggest aha moments for you so far? What has been what have you learned? What do you think if you could pick two or three things that really stand out to you, what can you take away from it that you've learned about you, food, what it does, and and what you know what I mean, like how we should view food today.
Oh my gosh. I didn't realize that I had an emotional addiction to food. I wasn't somebody that would sit down and eat a whole plate of things or like, I wasn't a binger, but I was
Mm-hmm.
addicted to what food did for me, I guess. And it was usually, now that I realize it, I think it was filling an emotional need. Um, but on top of that, I think I also had addictions to other things to fill the emotional need, like online shopping. I mean, gosh, here it is, it's Black Friday sales coming up. But I recognized that I was doing this without thinking. And the
Yeah.
same thing with food, I was doing it without thinking. I would just grab it. Or if I'm making the kids their lunches in the morning, I'd be eating as I'm making it. The stuff that I shouldn't be eating in the morning, you know, it was just an automatic trigger. This has helped me gain control so that food isn't controlling me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not believe that to be possible. I just thought I had a problem and this is not going to just get fixed in 11 days. But what I can say is it's done so much more than that. It's empowered me to take control. It has also given me such a huge awareness. Like, I know I posted a thing in the group about awareness. Awareness is so much more beyond the food choices now. It's like what I say yes and no to in my life, not just food,
Mm-hmm.
not just drinks. It's like, okay. And even sometimes I'll be making something and I'll be like, no, this is not going to work for me tonight. I can't eat this thing because I'm in between treads right now. So we're introducing a
Mm-hmm.
few things. And some of it, I'm just like, no, I'm trusting myself right now. I'm not going to do it. That's powerful. That's really powerful. I used to just grab crackers, like just because. And now it's like, I'm sure the cracker boxes are going to get tossed out because even the kids don't eat it if I'm not eating it. So it's an overall awareness and wake up call. It really is.
Yeah. Have you noticed your kids kind of like following mommy, like wanting to do what mommy's doing now?
Totally, they are. They actually were right in on it at the beginning, and they love, that cookie dough that I think Heather you just mentioned it. So good. The kids are
Yeah.
making it every day. Like sometimes they take it to school, sometimes they put it in the freezer and have it as a frozen treat. They love what we're doing, and they're actually cheering us on. Like there was a time where, oh, mommy, you can't have that, right? And I'm like, it's not that I can't. I actually don't want it. So that's a pretty awesome thing.
That's yeah. I mean, you said it a couple times. I'm going to reiterate it again. Like that's more than awesome. Like from a health coaching perspective, that is like okay. I've done coaching. Like you get it. Like you can now. You're free. Out of jail you go into the world. Congratulations. You got your cap and gown. Like you understand that food should serve you. You should not serve food. And so many people serve food and I get it. We're not going to get into the science and the chemical hormones and the dopamine and all that stuff that food releases, but food's very addictive. The concept of eating food and that feeling, it's not the food, it's the feeling, right? Those chemicals, people just don't understand how powerful they are. And I've said it before, but every bite of food you take instantly, instantly talks to your cells and tells you. And if you've lost control of that insulin and you've got inflammation on the rise and you're going to get these cravings and you're going to be binge eating, not binging in one time, but pick eating. You know what I mean? Like all these times when you're not really even hungry. And so, do you think this has helped regulate things? Do you find that I know you said you don't have cravings anymore. Do you find hunger comes on a lot slower, where you can like plan for it now and control what's going on and be like, oh, I feel it coming, like I can make a good decision.
It's never been like and I'm sure Heather can relate to this too. And it has never been like, oh my gosh, I'm starving. The entire time I have not felt like I'm starving, even on my intermittent nutritional fasting days, never. And that is bizarre for me because when I'm going and running errands, I don't live in town, so I have to drive a
Yeah.
distance. I always plan better now, obviously, because I don't want to be stuck somewhere hungry. And sometimes I have my incubated, goodness beside me, and I don't even need to use it until I get home, but I bring it with me anyway because I don't want to get stuck. But yeah, I don't have the hunger coming on. Like I said, I actually feel like I have to force myself to eat now because now it's just my fuel. It's not my need. It's not, it's a different, if that makes sense. Can I just say one? I know Heather.
You can say anything you want.
Yeah, the one thing, like I said, I had gone to a lot of professionals in the past over the years, many different people, and I remember one of them telling me, well, I think maybe you need to be on kind of like a carnivore Atkins type diet. Maybe you should look that up, go research it, see if this would work for you. And she left me to it. I mean, I had a half hour with her. What could she say in a half hour? And she let me go home and do the research. And I'm like, I can't do this. Like, this is not something I can physically even imagine doing. And having the support of this group has been the difference for me. And I know it probably is for everyone in there. If someone says to me, I want to do this, they will not do it with my support unless they're in that group, because that group has late ages so different for me because there's support and we have people to ask questions, and just seeing the motivation that's going on and the encouragement. Nobody can go to a professional and try to do things on their own the way that we're being told to. It just doesn't. Some people it does happen, but I'm like the average person that I need the extra support. So this is, I had to say that.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, Heather. I actually, I'm sorry, Tara, I actually don't do health coaching clients unless they commit to 6 months for that very reason that you're talking about. It takes time. But I love that this is so powerful in the concept of how it's put together with everything. And you're right, like the community, like it literally, I can't stop. Like I'm up at 4 a.m. and I'm like, oh my God, like who can I help today? And what's going on? And who's having a transformation today? And you know what I mean? Like for me, it lights me up. Like I'm very grateful I have my health and I got that part figured out after all the years, but man, does it light me up. So, all right, Heather, your turn. Let's go. What's been the aha moments for you besides the weight, besides the inches? Because obviously we all know that that's amazing. We all want to feel good, look good, feel sexy, all that good stuff. What's the aha moments for you that you've noticed, like that somebody can maybe be listening to this and be like, okay, I get it. I need to give this a shot.
So honestly, the weight loss and the inches are the side effects, in my opinion, of what happened. Mm-hmm. The control that I have, the mental clarity that I have, trying to finagle a very unique teaching schedule and have the 2 different devices going and you're running between that and figuring everything out, to have the mental clarity to control that and focus it and not be distracted because I'm hungry for something, to be able to sleep through the night without needing to take anything to help me shut my brain off. The ability to have the energy to get back on the playground and go down the slide and keep up and play tag with a 6-year-old. The energy that came back to be able to live my life. The weight loss and the inches are my side effect, in my opinion. Because I am in control of things. I feel like I'm more even-tempered. My hormones feel like they're balancing out. I've been having some female struggles the last few months. The first time I went through that week on the shred, I had no issues. It was crazy incredible because like I was in bed, puking, miserable. I didn't have that. Like, I'm like, wait, I can continue to live my life and I'm not going to be halted because Mother Nature's a bitch. Like, I'm okay to keep going. Those side effects are more important to me than the inches and the weight. Those are bonuses.
Yeah.
But to have that, I'm not hungry. Like, oh, we're doing a fasting day? Okay. My husband and son, we're going to make a pizza. Go right ahead. I'm not tempted. There's no temptation for the crap. And I listen to my body now. Since I've had 2 shreds, I did introduce a couple of foods. And I felt what felt good. And I felt what made me feel like trash and was able to identify what that was. So I know if I don't want to feel like crap, don't eat that. And I'm empowered to know what that is. because everything else has been reset and the inflammation has gone down, that when the inflammation comes back, I can feel it and I can identify it. And that is the key.
Yeah, I mean, wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. Like people just need to process that, right? Like that was a lot you just threw out. I mean, you started getting emotional a little bit when you talked about going down the slide. Your 6-year-old. I can only imagine as a mom, right, what that feels like because there are a lot of people that at the end of the day, you don't even have energy left to give to your kids. It's like it's almost like you have a bad temper, right? Like it's like, okay, sit down, shut up, do this, and it's like, and like it's not necessarily even your fault. Like you just feel so bad, right? But I mean, I can only imagine like just the quality of life that it can bring to have that energy and be there and be fully focused and not feel like the brain fog is, in the way or it's like you can't understand what's going on. Like you're just like boom, laser focused. So now both you guys, you've had better quality sleep. I know I forgot who said it, but have you talked about sleeping? Have you noticed sleep and stuff like that too?
I was thinking that actually too. Like there's so much more I didn't say, but yeah, sleep is
There's
definitely
so much, I know.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm dreaming again.
Yep.
Like, and then I wake up and I'm like, wow, that was the full sleep. Usually I wake up several times. It's improved so many things.
Yeah. Now I know you guys have heard it obviously through the years, and we've all heard it, right? That's what people go. Why do I need a health coach? I go, well, do you know how to eat healthy? And they go, yeah. I go, why haven't you hit your goals yet? Like you need the accountability. Every coach needs a coach. I have a coach. Every coach needs a coach, right? Sometimes we need multiple coaches. Like I got multiple mentors, right? They need to guide me on things. So,
and not only that, the group, I feel like if I start going down and my energy goes down, I go to the group and pour love on somebody else that's there. And that brings me right back up because that's what this community does. Like some of us have never even met each other and everybody there is cheering each other on. And just to be able to do that for somebody else and just to help them when they're struggling a little bit and they're there to support you when you're struggling, that brings your energy up as well. And that's huge.
I know. I feel like we could talk all night long on all the benefits because it's like, oh, and this, oh, and this, oh, and this. But you nailed it. Oh, look at you, cutie. Hi.
Here's my youngest. I think she's going to bed, so she's trying to say, no,
she's trying to say good night to. Oh, she's not going to bed. No, mommy, I'm not going to bed. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you guys see, but the group is amazing. I'm in agreement with this. Dr. Glenn says, when you love how you feel, I'll put that one up. When you love how you feel and doing it is easy and satisfying, it's easier to avoid sabotage. I mean, so for sure, right? Like, that's why we didn't want this diet thing. That's why we were like, no, we can't. Like, this is not, even though we have a protocol, we need to hit that protocol. But I love that you guys are talking about reintroducing foods because somebody who's new, they're like, well, wait a minute, I got to do this the rest of my life? And I'm like, no. Like, you need to get the baseline. You need to understand. Like, do you guys think that you have a better appreciation of the power of food, the raw power that food actually is? Because I think it's the most powerful legal drug on the face of the planet.
Oh, yeah. Like, I can't even say, again, that's why I was in disbelief that this was all happening so fast, because I don't think if I really put my mind to it to train myself to understand the power of food, it wouldn't have happened. But this protocol brought that right out without me even realizing that was happening. And the first few days that we started reintroducing things, I love, when you asked about cravings, I love salty snacks. And I decided to get organic, non-GMO popcorn. It had no sugar. It looked very, very clean. I did not do well with that. So it's the moment where you go, wow, like before I used to indulge in things and I might not know what it was that caused me some really tiredness or bloating or whatever symptoms. There's so many symptoms. But that was like, okay, I guess that's not for me. And it's okay. I don't feel like, oh, that sucks. Like now what am I going to do for snacks? Right. It's just, okay, that's good to know. So yeah, it's definitely been, wow.
I mean, there's so much food, you know what I mean? Like, and I'll keep saying it too. It's like, people just need to it's the same thing. Like I'll pass by stuff not because I don't want to enjoy or I feel like I'm missing out. Like I just choose to eat a certain way because I want to feel awesome and I think we deserve to feel awesome. But that doesn't mean that we don't have the power to say, oh, you know what? I'm going to have a glass of wine. Oh, you know what? I'm going to eat a cookie, or I'm going to have a small serving of dessert, not because I need it, but just because I freaking want it. Like, how powerful is that? To just be like, I just want it, and I know that I'm going to be able to control the feeling I get after because I'm going to flip right back to how I was, and I'm just going to keep fueling my body to feel amazing. And that's what I call balanced life. Like, you guys, I think you guys get this now, right? Like, you understand, like, this isn't about not eating certain foods or not going out and having fun with friends or not being able to have a holiday, you know what I mean, and enjoy. But I think we put our focus, this the U.S. especially, like oversized portions, and every freaking holiday is like food, 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 food. Like I'm like, what happened to getting together and spending some time with each other? You know what I mean? Like, what's wrong with just that? Like, why do we gotta like stuff our faces and all this kind of good stuff? It's just we've been in this habit for so long that it's so hard to break that habit. And for me, I've been trying so hard for 15 years, 15 plus years to get people to understand food. And, you know, when this kind of like hit me and I was like, oh my God, this could actually do it in such a short period of time. Like I like told Sean, I was like, bro, this is like boom, like just boom, like look what it did for you guys. And they had access to everything. I mean, literally, like you want to talk about something that everything they tried. And like this just did it. And this simple protocol of fueling the body for performance, really identifying what foods do to the body, and then from that point, continuously moving forward. Because you guys, like, you're just at the beginning, right? You guys feel that, right? I mean, look at all the power you have, like, at the beginning, and there's so much more. Like, I've been doing this for 20 years. Like, I'm always reinventing what I know is going to make me feel better because our bodies change, our hormones change, especially you guys as women, right? Like I don't go through those hormone shifts and that certain age of whatever it is, 30 to 40 years old. Like I very lucky. I don't have to do that. Maybe I'll get a midlife crisis and I'll go buy a Corvette or something like that. But that's like the male version, I guess, of that type of thing. But you know, it's identifying that and being able to have such a powerful tool in your tool belt that no matter what, you can always it's so simple. It's so simple that like you don't even have to think about it. You know what I mean? Like you really don't even have to think about it. Like stock up your freezer, get some butter and some bone broth and some salt, and let's get feeling good again. You know what I mean? Like that's really what it comes down to. Think about it. It's
And
super
we're
easy.
and we're talking less than 2 weeks. It's not a huge time commitment.
That's it.
Aren't you worth 2 weeks? I think that's the thing that I'm asking people. Are you worth trying something for 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Because my answer is
For
yes.
sure. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Okay, so what other tips, Tara? Any other last tips? Because I could talk to you guys forever, but we're over already, but I don't even care because I hope people are getting a lot of value out of this. And I seriously, like, we have a lot more chatting to do, the three of us, because I feel like we could get a lot out of each other and help so many freaking people, which, like, gives me chills. What's the biggest tip that you could give somebody? We have the largest group shred that we are going to launch on the 28th. And some of us are a day before, a day after, but as a group. And for those of you that maybe aren't in our group is free, by the way. It is open to anybody. You go to www.bodyalive.com. It will take you into the group. I'm an admin. We have some other ones. We will admit you very, very quickly. Right in the very top post is our protocol. You can click and watch one of the videos that breaks down the shred. You can go to YouTube and find this at ER Shred, and you can find a video that will break it down. What are some tips for people that are coming in that have never done this before? Maybe they're doing it for the second time. They're going again. What are one or two little golden nuggets that you guys can leave with somebody coming in and doing this and taking saying yes to themselves? Let's put it that way. Saying yes to themselves.
I think the biggest thing is to be honest with yourself. Like, I think a lot of people, they think, oh, I should do this, I should do that. And it's like, no, just be honest with yourself. Like, what do you want to do? Like, what do you want to accomplish? What do you want to do? And then, I have to say that I think it was my fourth day, I went into the group and I said, hey guys, I know that this is just part of the process, but I stepped on the scale. I know I probably shouldn't have, and I gained 3 pounds. And I remember that day going, oh my gosh, this sucks. Like, okay, here's another thing that's not going to work for me. And my mind went to that place. But I knew that by being vulnerable and posting that in the group, that I would have love and support from all of you. And I did. And that helped me to realize that, you know what, the scale is not always an accurate way for us to judge how we're doing, how successful we are. I felt incredible, but the scale got me into that place of feeling negative. And so I would say that if you are somebody that wants to step on the scale, please don't use that as your base, as your overall idea of your success, because the inches say everything. I mean, it really does. And if even this might not even be a weight loss thing for you, it's not for everyone. Some people are just like, I just need to feel better, right? So whatever it is for you, the other big pointer that I'd like to say is don't compare your journey with anyone else's. I have to say, I think everyone that I've seen in there is getting results if they're following it, and it's not hard to follow, but there's still going to be that, you know, the comparison game is so hard, and it just takes your joy away. What do they say? Comparison is the thief of joy. So just get in there, have the support that you really deserve to have in the group, and ask your questions. Don't think it's silly or crazy or stupid to ask the question. And the more you can just be real about it, the more people are going to, you know, help bring you back up. So, yeah.
I love it. That is great. Thank you so much. What about you, Heather?
Yeah, I mean, follow the protocol because it is as straightforward. If you need to make adjustments based on your lifestyle, there are so many tips and people out there that there's so much information in there. The search bar is your friend, but don't struggle in silence. Don't sit there and say, and sit there and just beat yourself up that you're hitting a roadblock or something doesn't feel right. Talk to somebody that you're doing it with or post in the group because we want to help you work through it. So I do it both as the group, and I'm also like one-on-one with somebody who's shredding, and I'm an accountability partner, and we check in with each other every day. So don't do it alone and don't push yourself through it. Reach out. The community is there for a reason. The files are there. Everything is there. It's direct. The search bar in the group is your friend because there are so many resources, and I think it can get overwhelming. I agree that you don't want to compare your journey because some people were looking at my first shred was my 8.5, 9 pounds. My second shred was only 3 or 4. But I knew that I was almost where I want to be and almost where my body should be. So I knew that the results were not going to be as big. And so you don't know somebody else's book. Like Jesse said, we don't know what chapter of their story they're in, that they may have more to lose. So they're going to see a bigger result. You might be close to where your body's supposed to be, so you don't have as much. So don't compare and don't go it alone.
I love it. Do you see the comment on the screen?
That's my girl.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. That's awesome because you're changing lives. So that's a powerful thing right there. So guys, that was awesome. I mean, it's really what this is all about. You know what I mean? And I'm so glad that we were able to do it and really kind of dive in a little bit. I'm excited that I got to know you guys a little bit better because we've chatted a lot. You guys have become amazing. Not only do you excite me from your own results, like I am genuinely freaking happy for people because I remember that moment for me, that aha moment when I figured out, I was like, holy shit, I've done all this stuff. And if I just understood the raw power of food, I started studying functional medicine and holistic medicine, and I was like, oh my God, it all makes sense now. You know, I'm doing all this stuff that I thought was right, but really I just needed to go back to the damn basics. Like it really has just got to be so stupidly simple. And it's that feeling of just, you know what I mean? Like that community, you guys keep bringing up the community. Like, I mean, we have over 19,000 people. We have nutritionists, dietitians, doctors, functional medicine practitioners, nurses, like if you, I mean, I'll just tell you, like, if you want to hire me as a health coach, like, it's $2,000 for 6 months, and you get 2 45-minute sessions per month. Like, it's not cheap, but I know I can freaking change your life. Like, and that's me thinking that I think I need to go up. I'm cheap. You hire a naturopath to do an elimination diet, you're talking $8,000 to $10,000. That is not a far-fetched number that I'm just throwing out there, guys. Like, this is the power of this community. Like, that's what you have access to for free. We want to give that to you, like these girls are sharing with you, because I think that it's one of the most valuable things that you need on a health journey. You need accountability partners. You need a group. You need people, because listen, not every day was peachy hunky dory, girls, right? No, we're not sitting here telling you that this is just going to be like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, you might watch the butter melt on a hot plate, but some days aren't going to be like that, okay? You're going to have to dig through the crud to get to the other side. And I always remind people, they're like, well, it's day 5. And I'm like, well, how many years have you been disrespecting yourself, right? And I mean, it's a tough question, but it's like, look, you got to be honest and you got to be real, right? I know you guys still have huge goals that you want to hit. You're not where you want to be, obviously, but the power that you have and the mindset that you have and the nuggets you share, like, it tells me from a coaching standpoint that I have no doubt in my mind that you guys are seriously going to crush the rest of this. And for the rest of your life, you now understand what to do. Like, you have the tools. Like, that is like the freaking gold at the end of the rainbow, if you ask me. You know what I mean? Like, you have that power. So listen, let's cut this, because we're going to go for 2 hours before I know it. I love you guys. I seriously appreciate you guys. I cannot wait until we can all come together and go to a big event, so we can all have like a huge ER shred celebration. You know what I mean? Like, I'll get Sean to buy all the meat in the world. Maybe we'll just have cows shipped in. And you know what I mean? Like, we'll get, you know what I mean, steaks for everybody, and, you know, beef sticks and some collagen bone broth, and we'll give out some prizes and all that kind of good stuff. Like, but I just seriously, like, to get everybody together, you know what I mean? That connection again, which I know we're all missing right now, especially with this stupid stuff that's going on. So seriously, from the bottom of my heart, I hope everybody got value out of it. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for showing up every day. Thank you for being raw, for being real, for being vulnerable, for sharing the good, for sharing the bad, because that's life, right? Like, that's real. That's as real as you can freaking get. If you guys found value, put it into the comments. Thank these guys for their time. Reach out to us if you need help with anything. We're here to help you. And that's what I got, guys. That's what I got. You got any last things to say, or I think we got a lot out, right? I think we're good to go. So I appreciate you guys, and I will talk to you real soon. Cool?
Thanks.
All right, guys. 11:20. Go ahead.
I said thank you for having us.
Yes, that's all I wanted.
For sure. For sure. I love it.
You've explained so much.
So, what's that? I'm sorry.
You've explained so much to us through the process so that it makes sense. So thank you for that too.
Well, I appreciate you. I really do. 11:28. Stop denying yourself. Jump on board. ershred.com, www.bodylive.com. Get your ass in the group. It costs you nothing to come and just have an open mind and check it out. Whether you want to do it or you don't want to do it, you owe it to yourself to come check it out. Come play with us. I'm telling you, 2020 has been shit for so many people. Like, let us make the end of 2020 an amazing time for you. Get your health back. Do not wait for the new year. Those things fail anyways. Like, let's be honest, right? Those things fail. Your health does not deserve to wait. You deserve it now. I appreciate you guys for your time, and we will talk to you guys all very soon. Have an awesome night.